Subaru Philippines is going big this year. Literally. What we have here is the 2021 Subaru Evoltis, or also known as the Ascent in other markets. How big is it exactly? Well, it's a hair under 5 meters long, it's nearly 2 meters wide, and about 1.8 meters tall. So it's best to measure your garage first if you want to consider one of these in the first place. But anyway, what does it have to offer from the outside? Well, here at the front, you have LED illumination practically everywhere. You have LED headlights, LED DRLs, and even LED fog lights to go along with it. And there's something you should know about the headlights as well. So these are automatic, so the moment you hit a dark place, it illuminates, and these are also steering responsive headlights. So when you turn the wheel, the light beam follows along with it. As for the rest of the exterior, you have a pair of functional roof rails at the top and 20-inch alloy wheels to go along with it. And over at the back, you have a power tailgate, so there's no longer a need to slam it shut. Under the hood of the Evoltis is a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine, a Boxer 4 to be exact. Now you might argue that a car this size needs a V6, but not to worry because that Boxer engine is turbocharged, and the result is 260 horsepower and 375 Newton meters of torque. It then shifts with a continuously variable transmission, which Subaru calls linear-tronic. Oh, and claimed factory fuel economy is 9.8 liters per 100 kilometers in mixed driving conditions. Of course, it wouldn't be a top-of-the-line Subaru crossover if it didn't have a massive sunroof. It's not panoramic, but it is huge. It stretches here from the front seat all the way to the second row seats. Now, with that out of the way, what is the view from the driver's seat? Now, interestingly, it doesn't have digital instrument clusters. Instead, it has an analog pair of clusters. Of course, you do have a digital and colored multi-information display, which is pretty much standard fare these days. And onto the steering wheel, well, you've got a multitude of buttons controlling what's displayed in front of you, your cruise control, and even a button for a steering wheel warmer, just in case it starts snowing here. Now onto the center console, and you'll notice two screens. Now the one up here displays, well, your EyeSight status and whatnot, and your settings, your menu, your clock, your average fuel economy, and even what radio station is playing. It even comes with an inclinometer in case you want to venture out off-road. And here's another novelty of that screen. It even has a birthday and anniversary reminder, which is a must for forgetful husbands out there. Now this is also your extension for your camera views. All you have to press is this button that says View, and you can check out the view from the front camera, or when you shift it into reverse, the view from the rear camera. Now the Evoltis comes with a pair of cameras here at the front. Now if you want to see a closer view of the front, all you have to press is View on the dashboard as such. And the other camera is actually the rear view mirror, because when you flick this tab, it gives you an unobstructed view of what's behind. Now moving a little bit lower down, you're going to see that there's a seatbelt reminder not just for the front passengers, but also for the second and third row passengers. That's not something you see every day. Now lower down, you see the infotainment screen, and it's pretty much standard Subaru fare, but the question here is, does it have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto? Well, you bet it does. That's what you would expect in a model like this, after all. Now, once you've plugged in your phone, you can enjoy your tunes pumping out of the Harman Kardon sound system, which has 17 speakers. Now, for those hot summer days, we're glad to report that the Evoltis comes with seat chillers. All you have to do is press this button down here. And just in case it starts snowing all of a sudden in the Philippines, these are also heated, just like the steering wheel, as I mentioned earlier. As for the front seats, these are 10-way power adjustable with memory, and over at the passenger side, these are 4-way adjustable, power adjustable to be exact. Unlike most crossovers, it doesn't have a bench back here, as you can see. Instead, it has a pair of captain's chairs, which is something that isn't usually seen in this segment. You'd see something like this in like a luxury MPV or a luxury van, but still, it's what's standard here in the Evoltis. So what else is back here in the Evoltis? Well, it's got window shades, which is a nice little VIP touch, and individual armrests for a more lounge-like experience. Now, these seats aren't fixed into position. You can slide them forward or back for more room, and you can also change the angle of the recline. Well, that's something you expect after all in something like this. Anyway, other highlights. Well, you're not going to have a shortage of charging ports in here because there are 2 USB ports here and even a 120-volt socket for good measure. And just above it are the controls for the tri-zone climate control system. Now, this controls the climate control for the second and the third row seats. And that brings us neatly to the third row purchase. Now, the Evoltis is wide enough to accommodate 3 people, making this a 7-seater despite the lack of a bench seat here in the second row. Now, if somebody has to sit in the third row, it's usually a penalty box, but that's not the case here in the Evoltis. Again, you get USB ports over at the back, an abundance of cubby holes, and a lot of cup holders. And while we're on the subject of cup holders, Subaru says there are 19 cup holders here in the Evoltis. 19. Now onto the subject of EyeSight. Now, EyeSight is essentially Subaru's active safety suite that prevents you from getting into an accident in the first place. It includes features such as adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, and automatic emergency braking, just to name a few. And it also has symmetrical all-wheel drive, this is a Subaru after all, active torque vectoring, and stability control just to keep you planted on the ground. And should the worst happen, knock on wood, it also has a lot of accolades from US safety organizations. Interested? Well, the Evoltis retails for 3,480,000 pesos. Now, is it worth it? Well, you can do one of 2 things. You can visit your nearest Subaru dealership and check it out for yourself and even take it for a test drive. Or 2, you can visit our website and read all about it. Now, this has been Anton from AutoIndustriya.com. If you enjoyed this video, do subscribe to our YouTube channel. And while you're at it, you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well. Thanks for watching.